It all started at McDonald's. For Index and Touma, they carried on as if life were normal as ever. Though, even when she looked back at him, Touma always had a sense of guilt. Sure, he knew that one day his memories would return, but things weren't going the way he expected. Once again, the convoluted relationship between science and magic reared its ugly head. Just as the T-Sphere said, slowly but surely his memories were coming back, dripping back into his mind one by one. But even when they did, it didn't feel the same. At night, when Touma would have dreams, old memories coming back to his mind, it didn't feel like himself. It felt more like he was watching someone else's life being played in his head. He knew it was him, yes, but at the same time, it didn't feel like him. Sure, the T-Sphere could restore his memory, but in the end, he would simply never be the Touma that he used to be. Even once he had everything fully restored, he didn't think much would change. He could learn everything about himself, and yet he still would be a new man. But for now, that wasn't what he had to worry about. The only thing that mattered was keeping Index safe. After all, that's what his power was meant to do. To protect those who couldn't protect themselves. To ensure everyone a fairness of life. But why were they going to McDonald's? Primarily because Index was being a little bit of a brat. She wanted a milkshake or ice cream or some frozen dairy product. And this whole escapade spiraled into meeting his good friends Motoharu and Aogami. And somehow it ended up with him, his rotten luck, buying everyone's food. But this led to another peculiar case. It started when they were going to find a booth to sit down, and there was a girl. A girl dressed like a shrine priestess. She was in agony because apparently she had eaten too many cheeseburgers. And unfortunately, she only had 500 yen left. 500 yen, but you need 600 to use the train. Of course, for Touma, even if he was a more charitable man, he couldn't be giving out any more money because he had none. But that's when someone else came along offering to help. A young man dressed in a bark suit with a tall woman beside him. If it's money that you need for your fare, I'm happy to provide it. You would help me? The girl said. Of course. I've actually been looking for you. I was hoping we could have a chance to, Lady Ayase. A group of men arrived, all in suits as well. Touma had no idea of what was going on, but the situation became a little more tense. The girl, known as Ayase, would stand up and leave with them. She handed back the money to the young man that provided, thanking him, though, for his kindness before taking off. The young man, mysterious in nature, had an irritated look on his face, like something had gone wrong with this whole operation. But his eyes also betrayed the idea that not all hope was lost. Your name's Touma. Touma Kamijo, right? The young man said. Yeah, that's me. How do you know my name? I know a lot of things, Touma, but you have no reason to be alarmed. No offense, but when a stranger comes up to me using my full name, as if they know me, I can't help but be a little alarmed. Well, how about I exchange my name with you? Though many call me John, some call me Johnny. So you're Johnny? It's kind of courtesy to give your full name. After all, you know mine. You're right. I'm officially Johnny Wayne Grayson. This here is my associate, Julia Pennyworth. Johnny Wayne Grayson. Has a more Americanized ring to it. It is. I'm from the United States. Gotham, New Jersey, to be specific. Well, what's someone from the good old US of A doing all the way out here in Japan? Academy City. It's said to have some of the most strange of phenomena, along with those of the supernatural side. I imagine you. I'm just a level 0. Nothing fancy about me at all. Is that right? Sir, Julia would say. I think it's time we take our leave. You're right. Here, take this. He handed Touma a significant amount of money. What's this for? And because my family's always believed in helping people. And I always think that you're a pretty good man in your own right, even if you don't realize it. With that, the two would take their leave, and Touma was left even more confused than ever. But for Index, she was excited. More money, more milkshakes? No, this is going to cover the cost of all of you greedy little pigs getting into my wallet. Now, no need to be like that, friend, Motoharu said as he swung his arm over his shoulder. It's share and share alike. I like to call it a gift from the universe. A gift from the universe. Yeah, gift from the universe, my ass. No. Well, maybe, but I wouldn't expect for him to have a gift of the universe, Index said. He's already rejected by God. After enjoying their lunch, the group would split off and go their separate ways. After all, the only reason why Touma was even out and about was because he needed a textbook. He was still stuck in his summer remedial classes. Even with the dimly lost mind and amnesia, that still didn't change the fact of his current predicament. And another new development. Index and her new friend. That being in the form of a stray cat. Before Touma could even put his foot down and say no, she had already named it. Sphinx. Now there was another mouth to feed. Another head-scratching headache. But seeing her like this, well, Touma found it hard to resist. Even if he couldn't fully remember, he knew one thing was for sure. He would do anything to make her happy. Suddenly around them, the environment would change. Index felt a growing magical presence and went to go investigate. The moment she did so, it seemed as though time stopped. The world around them vanished. The people once walking about in the streets now disappeared. And now there was only Touma and Style Magnus. Immediately, the T-mask would appear on his face, on instinct. 4 T-spheres hovering around him immediately, already in a defensive pattern. He had been working hard to learn how to use the T-spheres, and had even begun working on making new ones. Of course, it was a very long and daunting process, and his way of getting materials was a little less than legal, but he tried to keep things in the morally gray, at least as much as possible, within limits, hopefully. And now, it led him back to the sorcerer. Thankfully, with the T-Sphere's recordings and with all of the knowledge that had been given to him, he knew enough about style. He could play the part at least, even if he didn't fully remember why they were always at odds. I see you and Index are getting along well, Magnus said. Didn't think you'd be coming back so soon. It's always one thing after another with you sorcerers, isn't it? Don't take me lightly, kid. Magnus attempted to shoot off one of his flames, but was immediately countered by the T-Sphere, they counter it with its own laser. You're fast with it. I see you're getting good using that pesky sort of hedonistic technology. I was just getting lucky the first time. What are you doing here, Magnus? Well, officially speaking, I'm here because you and I are going on a little mission. There's an institute in Academy City known as Misawa College Prep. Yeah, I've heard of it. We're going there. There's someone that we need to save. A hostage. A hostage? Here? And you didn't think to call the police. This is regarding the more mystical side of things. Calling the police would do us no good, and I have specific orders to bring you along. You and Index. Things seem to be working very well for you, right? Yeah. Well, the only way it stays that way is if you help me. Because if you don't, Necessarius might not want to keep her with you. For now, you serve our purpose. You keep her from turning on us. You're basically her shackles. But if you don't play ball, then let me stop you right there, Touma said, an unknown confidence echoing into his voice. I don't get you sorcerers. Really, I don't. I mean, I don't know who died and made you kings, or where you got the biggest stick shoved up your ass to go around talking about people, using them any way you see fit, and acting like you have to answer to no one. The only one I have to answer to is God. Well, you're not talking to God right now, you're talking to me. I am not Index's jailer. She's not a prisoner. She's my friend, and I'm going to keep her safe from anyone, and that includes you. Is that so? It's a promise. If you didn't come here looking for a fight, then you better keep it that way. But if you keep running your mouth, Magnus, I swear, I will kick your ass from pillar to post across this country. I will fly to England and I will burn that church down my damn self. We got that? You actually have the nerve to say something like that to me. Well, at least I know where we stand in that regard. No point in pretending that we're friends, right? This is who we're after. A photo would fly out of his hands and into Touma's. Her name is Deep Blood, although that's her magic name. Her human name is Ayase. Ayase Himegami. No way. This girl. I've seen her before. And when was that? Not too long ago. She was at the McDonald's. Of all the... Well, I guess that saves me trouble in that regard. We're going after her. She's being held at Misawa Prep. It's actually a front being held by an organization, a cult of science, if you will, ran by an alchemist. An alchemist? Yeah. Goes by the name Arizolus Izzard. Alchemists can be pretty dangerous. Yeah, and he's no exception. You know what they aspire for? The power to bend the universe to their will. I don't know what he plans to do with Deep Blood, but whatever it is, it can't be good. Why is she called Deep Blood? What could her magic possibly be that can make her that dangerous? She has the power to kill monsters. In particular, a certain kind of monster. She's very dangerous to vampires. To vampires? Now you're saying that vampires are real? What's next? Werewolves, witches, mummies? Look, kid, I could give you a whole catalog of monsters that are real, but typically speaking, they stay in their own realm and they don't come out too much. And we like to keep it that way. So, I'd like to nip this in the bud before it becomes an epidemic. Epidemic? How? If deep blood falls into the wrong hands, it could lead to a war between mankind and monsters. There's a lot that you don't know. I'll fill you in on the way. Make sure the index is taken care of. I'll be seeing you soon. With that, Magnus would disappear, and Touma would be left by himself. As if surviving against sorcerers and evil sorcerer terrorists weren't bad enough, he now found himself in the crosshairs of dealing with potential monsters and alchemists, as well as an evil cult of science. Sure, Academy City had its eccentric sides, but still. Then again, who was he to talk? He had a giant metal sphere implanted inside of his head. For now, the only thing he could do was check on Index and make sure she was alright. For now, she had the cat, even if he didn't like it. But still, that was someone to keep her company. He would alert Index that he was going to be going away for a little while, but shouldn't be gone for too long. Index looked at him, now concerned. Touma was always one for getting himself into trouble, often getting himself into situations way over his head. Of course she was going to worry. I'll be fine, really. I'm just going to go off and help a friend for a little while. Make sure you keep the door locked and keep yourself near the phone. If anything happens, I'll send by the T-spheres. They can probably get here a lot faster than I can. I can use them to get you somewhere safe. Okay. Touma, be careful. It's me. I'm gonna be just fine. Touma would meet with Magnus on the outside, who would leave some magical ruins in place, a form of protection for Index as well. Touma would tease that maybe he had a crush on Index, though Magnus would quickly deny it. Sure, he cared about Index, but not in that kind of way. And it was strange, but the two of them actually got along, whenever they weren't at each other's throats. As they arrived to Misawa Prep, Touma quickly learned that magic could be effective in many kind of situation. For example, inside of the school, it was two different worlds divided by a veil. The halls were littered not just with students walking about, but also with dead knights. Holy knights of the church, it seems. How come they can't see them? A veil is oftentimes like the line that divides two sides of a coin, Magnus would explain. The school is on the head side. Right now, we're on the tail side. Heads, tails? Yeah, depending on what side you are, the other can't see you. These knights, whatever killed them, it's with us. As they descended throughout the different halls of the school, making their way to the back and using the stairs, as they couldn't use the elevator on the other side of the dimensional rift, Magnus would explain that going up against an alchemist was a lot easier said than done. The power of the alchemist, once used as a way of converting one source to another, could now lead to even more unparalleled horrors. Aureolus. He used to be associated with us 3 years ago, but he disappeared soon after. You know, you guys have a bad habit of having people you used to work for turn on you. Yeah, it comes with the territory. Though I guess everyone gets disillusioned with us sooner or later. They would eventually arrive to the cafeteria, where at first all of the students were going about their day normally, though they stopped, all of them looking where Magnus and Touma were. Why are they staring at us? Don't worry about it. I said we're on the tail side, remember? Even if they look this way, they shouldn't be able to. Immediately, the group of students would start speaking as one, reciting spell and incantation together. At that moment, Magnus realized that they had most likely tripped some sort of magical security alarm, thus alerting them to their presence. And, well, Magnus was ready to use his trump card. Don't worry about it, kid. I've got an ace in my sleeve. It'll get us out of this no problem. Well, why are you telling me for? Just use it. Oh, I am. Touma waited and waited as the students slowly but surely picking up speed began to approach him. He turned to see where Magnus was and, well, he wasn't there. He was already halfway down the hall. Touma would immediately chase after him, his T-spheres giving him a boost as he went flying. So that was your plan? You were just going to leave me back there to deal with them? That is why I brought you. You're the one with the Imagine Breaker. You should be able to deal with anything they can throw at you. First of all, Imagine Breaker, it only works with my right hand, or my right arm if we're being specific. Other than that, my entire body is a complete weak point. You're telling me this while you're using the T-spheres. You can use them to guard your blind spot. I can't think that fast. It's not like I can fight with eyes in the back of my head. Except they are eyes in the back of your head, you dumbass. Look, now's not the time to talk about... How are you even going to lecture me about a power you already hate? I might hate the power, but even I can understand how it's used. I'm going to leave these zombified students in your care and keeping. I'm going to go find the source of the magic and get rid of it. Afterwards, we're going to go deal with Aureolus. Magnus would then disappear once again, leaving Touma to deal with the aftermath. He found himself surrounded on both sides. Using the T-spheres, they would form a defensive barrier pushing the students back. Immediately, one of the girls would begin reciting another spell, causing cuts to form all along her body. Touma, even though he was caught in a precarious situation, he was worried about her. Whatever was going on, these kids were being used against their will. And even worse, they were going to suffer the consequences for it. Though, before that could happen, the girl would be stopped. And it was by Ayase, the one they had been looking for. Ayase was surprised to see that Touma had come here, especially just for her. And while she was appreciative, for now she focused only on helping the girl. So your magic's healing? That's what you can do? I wouldn't say that's my magic. I prefer using magic like this. From out of her sleeve, she pulled out a riot baton that had an electric mode. That's not magic at all! Put that thing away! Well, you asked. Still, I've only been able to stabilize her. She's going to need a doctor, a real one. I can call one. But first, we need to get you out of here also, and I'm not leaving. What? I appreciate why you came here, but I'm here by choice. I need to be here. I'm a danger to the world outside. What are you talking about? You're only a danger to monsters, right? There's no way that you would... Those monsters are people too. Vampires? For the most part, they can function in normal society. They even have a place of their own, but the longer that I'm out in the world, I draw them out of their hiding. I lead them to death. I don't want to do that. I'm here because I want this power to be taken from me. Aureolus, he's the one who can help me. Who can help you. Precisely. a tall man said, dressed in a white suit with green hair, as he emerged from the shadows. Aureolus. Touma Kamijo. I have to say, I have been anticipating meeting you for a while now. Your exploits, though kept a secret to many, they are indeed fascinating. How's Index? What do you know about Index? A lot more than Necessarius has told you. Everything I've done for her benefit. And, well, quite frankly, you are no longer a necessary factor. Touma would call the T-spheres to attack him, but before they could, Aureolus spoke. Before they can even strike me, I will already be out of your range. Instantly, the T-spheres would swerve around his body before ricocheting and coming right back to Touma, knocking him down. Before he could get back to his feet, Aureolus was above him. He was going to finish him off quickly, no need to draw this fight out, but Ayase would stop him. He was only here for me. He's not interfering with your plans. You have no reason to take his life. Or are you the type of man that would kill at an inconvenience? Is that really who you are, Aureolus? If so, you can consider our partnership over. You're right then. Please forgive me. I'll handle this another way. Aureolus would stab himself in the neck as a light would begin to glow, blinding Touma. You will leave here and forget everything you have seen. You will move on with your life, and you will forget. In a blinding flash, Touma and Magnus soon found themselves sitting on a park swing set with no recollection of how they had gotten there. For Magnus, he thought there was something that they were doing that was important, but he couldn't figure it out. If it was important, then it'll come back to me soon. Yeah, you're probably right. The moment Touma touched his head with his right hand, suddenly, he remembered everything. The power of Imagine Breaker undoing the spell that had been done on him. Wait, Magnus! Before you go, I need you to do something for me. Huh? I need you to stick out your tongue, like this. Huh? You are weird. Please, it's really important. I think it'll help us. Fine. Like this? Yeah, just like that. Immediately, Touma gave him a devastating right-handed uppercut. That's for abandoning me in the stairwell, you jackass! It might not have been the most diplomatic way to use his power, but it got his point across. Soon, the two of them realized they had been tricked by Aureolus, and they knew they had to get back to Misawa Prep. In the meantime, Index had already arrived. She felt the growing sense of magic in this area. She was drawn to it. She made her way inside with the doors already opened. Immediately, knights in bloody armor would begin to surround her, their eyes glowing a faint red, as if ready to kill. What's going on? Knights of the Holy Church? Why are they here? Without warning, the knights would descend upon Index, seemingly ready to strike her down. But before they could, a flash of red, green, and yellow would appear. Wielding a bow staff, he struck at the knights, knocking them all away, before throwing what appeared to be bird-like boomerangs, blowing off their heads and causing them to collapse. No! You shouldn't have! It's all right. They're not alive anymore. They're just corpses. Even if they are, the dead deserve to be respected. A proper burial. They served God. I'm sorry. Who are you? This might be hard to believe, but I'm a hero. They call me. We have guests, Aureolus said from atop of the staircase. And colorful ones, too. It's been a long time, Index. I'm happy that you came. How do you know me? You still don't remember. It's fine. I'm going to save you, I promise. But you, on the other hand, Aureolus said with a smirk, you were supposed to be dead. I didn't think you would survive that little ordeal, Robin. Aureolus, Robin said. Where is she? The vampire princess? That's what you've come for. I figured you mortals would want her dead. And this was not in my calculations. Though, a good alchemist is always prepared for the unexpected. Perhaps I should remind you of what happens when you stand in my way, and that's enough, Aureolus. I'll ask you one more time. Where is Mocha? This concludes A Certain Magical Index, Sage of Knowledge. What if Touma Kamijo was Mr. Terrific? Season 1, Part 7. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that's to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned next time as we continue with A Certain Magical Index, Sage of Knowledge. What if Touma Kamijo was Mr. Terrific? Season 1, Part 8. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings, signing off, and I'll see you next time.